Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today is our lecture number 6. We were discussing principle of management in the last lecture. So as you must be aware that we have already discussed meaning, nature, significance and Fayol's principle. Now we are discussing F.W. Taylor's principle and techniques given by Taylor. So first, before we start studying the techniques and principle of Taylor, we should understand who Taylor was. So F.W. Taylor was born in USA. He was a mechanical engineer who joined the Midville Steel Company. And why he became popular? Because he gave the scientific study, scientific management principle, and he was primarily interested in increasing the efficiency of workers and productivity. Okay. After completing his brief introduction, we will move forward to understand the principle given by F.W. Taylor. So the first F.W. Taylor principle are also known as scientific principle of management. So the first principle given by F.W. Taylor is science not rule of thumb. So what does he mean by science not rule of thumb? According to this principle, Taylor insisted that each job performed in the organization should be based on the scientific study rather than the rule of thumb. Let's take an example to understand this. Suppose to determine the time required for a specific job, one manager performed the time study. On the other hand, another manager, on the basis of his past experience, decide the time required to perform the work. So the another person is doing science not rule of thumb. He is practicing this principle. On the other hand, one manager is not following the same. So to understand it more clearly, we can say that rule of thumb means dictatorship of manager. On the other hand, science means basic practice and the experience we gain from that practice. So science means practicals and experimentation. On that basis we derive a result. Rule of thumb means dictatorship. Now let us quickly discuss one case study for the same. Rohan is desirous of setting up a small factory to manufacture packing materials. He planned to use logical approach and take every decision with fact and figure, with proper reasoning rather than relying on hit or miss method. So state the principle which is applied by Rohan. So in that case we can see that he does not believe on wits and whims. Instead he performed the practicals and experimentation. After that only his basis of result is facts and figures and not just his some okay. So the principle that applied by Rohan is science not rule of thumb. Second principle that we are discussing is harmony not discord. Harmony means that the individuals working in the organization means there are two groups in the organization. First are the workers or the working group. Another group is of the managers. So what happened in the organization? Workers think that they are underpaid and overworked. On the other hand, managers think that workers are good for nothing. So what Taylor suggested, that there should be harmony between these two because they are dependent on each other for the achievement of organizational goals. So there need to be harmony between the working group and the manager and no discord between the working group and the managers. Once that will happen, it will be much easier for them to achieve the organizational goals. Taylor also suggested that there should be the paternalistic way of management in the organization. What does paternalistic management means? So let's take an example to understand that. In Japan, the workers treat the organization as their parent and they work there. If they have any complaints from the management, they tie a band on their hand and they work more to gain the sympathy of the management. So that is a paternalistic way of management. once the workers will start considering the organization as their parent, then they will not do the things which will harm the production or other things in the organization. They both work, managing group and the working group, both will work towards achieving the organizational goal. Now let us discuss the case study for the same. ABC Limited, a tire manufacturing concern, has been established for more than 10 years. Having made good profits in the past, company wanted to expand further and hence did not declare bonus for the previous year. The workers got agitated and trade union declared a strike and demanded bonus and other facilities. The management decided not to give in to their demands. Which principle of scientific management is overlooked in the given case? The management principle that is overlooked in the given case is harmony not discord. And why that happened? Because the workers treat the organization as only the organization. They did not have any self of involvement or so there is a communication gap between the manager and the working group. Both are not following their commitment towards the organization. So we need harmony and no discord. Now cooperation not individualism is the extension of harmony not discord. As we have seen in the harmony and discord principle that there are two working groups and both are rely on each other. So once they will have cooperation and not individualism, because they are dependent on each other for information and resources, so they have to maintain the cooperation. When that will happen, it will be much easier for them to work together. According to this principle, work must be carried on in cooperation with each other with mutual confidence and understanding for each other. That means that workers and managers should work together with mutual interest and cooperation with each other. Let's take an example to understand this cooperation not individualism. While assigning job to workers, if management asks them about their interest and then work is assigned according to their interest, definitely the worker will perform it more efficiently. So the example that we have discussed in that, the workers being assigned the job which they like to do, so they will perform more efficiently in the organization and they will have more feeling of being involved in the organization planning process. Now development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. What this scientific principle given by Taylor says that there should be development of workers. That means they should not have the feeling of being exploited by the organization. Industrial efficiency depend upon the efficiency of workers. So the efficiency of industry will depend on how efficient the workers of the organization are. Worker efficiency depends upon proper training and their selection. Taylor insisted due care should be taken while selecting the employees, and after selecting they must be given job according to their qualification. So the basic thing in very simple words, if we put this principle, that means once the workers are hired into the organization according to the capabilities, they should be given the job after due training, and once the training is completed, they should be given the job according to their capability so that they can develop to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. Now we have completed the FW principles given by Taylor, or the scientific principle of management, in which first one was science not rule of thumb, second one was harmony not discord, third one was cooperation not individualism, and the fourth one was development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. So what we have learned in the science not rule of thumb, that the principle applied in the organization should be the basis of them should be science and not rule of thumb. Harmony not discord means the two groups of the organization should work in harmony in the organization, should work with harmony in the organization, and they should not have discord between them. Cooperation not individualism is an extension of the principle harmony not discord, and here they wanted to say that they should cooperate with each other because they should have mutual respect towards each other, so that there is more cooperation in the organization and less individualism. Fourth one, development of worker to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. In that Taylor wanted to say that there should be proper training and selection of personnel, and after their selection they should be given job according to their capabilities. Now we are going to discuss the techniques that are given by Taylor. Okay, so in that the first technique is functional foremanship. Do you remember what we have studied in the Fayol principle? That there should be unity of command. Unity of command basically suggests that there should be one superior for one subordinate. The contrary of that is functional foremanship. What functional foremanship suggested? That there should be 8 functional foremen for guiding a single worker, means that there should be 8 superiors to guide one worker. What these functional foremen do? Functional foremen divided into 2 groups. First is planning in charge, another one is production in charge. So what planning in charge functional foremen are supposed to do? First, let us quickly understand what is foreman. Foremen are the leaders of the workers. So they are the quick superiors of the workers. So workers के ऊपर कौन आते हैं? Foremen आते हैं. Okay. Now there are 8 that Taylor suggested. In the planning department 4 and in the production department another 4. So the first one is route clerk. What does route clerk do? So the basic function performed by route clerk is route clerk decide the route of the production process. That means let's take an example to understand this. Once the sugar cane introduced in the organization, what will be the process the sugar cane will follow to convert into the sugar? Now the second one is instruction card clerk. Instruction card clerk work is giving general instructions. This personnel give general instruction to the workers. Now time and cost clerk. Time and cost clerk is responsible to fix up the time for starting and completion of job. So time and cost clerk decide the time for starting the job and for finishing the job. Now another last one in planning process is disciplinarian. Disciplinarian is responsible for maintaining the discipline in the job, in like how they need to perform the job with discipline and in systematic way. Now the 4 other foremen are in the production department. They are, first one is gang boss. Gang boss arranges all the machine tools and other resources. So what does gang boss do? Gang boss arrange करता है सारी machines को, सारे tools को and other things that are required to perform the job. Now there is speed boss. Speed boss is required. Speed boss assure करता है कि अपना टाइमली बेसिस पे प्रोडक्शन कंप्लीट हुआ है कि नहीं. यहाँ पे टाइम एंड कॉस्ट क्लर्क डिसाइड करता है कि व्हाट इज़ द टाइम रिक्वायर्ड टू कंप्लीट द जॉब. यहाँ पे स्पीड बॉस चेक करता है कि उतने टाइम में अपना कंप्लीट हुआ है कि नहीं. देन वी हैव रिपेयर बॉस. व्हाट इज़ रिपेयर बॉस? रिपेयर बॉस इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल for ensuring that machines and tools are kept in working conditions. If there is any requirement for the repair boss do the same. Now we have inspector. Inspector keeps a check on quality control of the output. So inspector keeps a check on the quality control of output. Let us quickly summarize these 8. First one is route clerk, which define the route of the production process. Second is instruction card clerk. He gives instruction to the employees. Then we have time and cost clerk. They define the time required to start the job and time to finish the job. Disciplinaire maintain the discipline in the organization's worker space. Then gang boss is responsible for maintaining the machine conditions and the other requirement related to machine. Speed boss is responsible for the speed of repair boss is responsible for the repairment of the machines and other tools. Inspector is responsible for guiding the whole process. Now we have the another principle, which is standardization and simplification of work. Standardization and simplification of work basically means we should scientific management always emphasizes of maintaining standards relating to every step of business operation. Standardization basically means we should set standards that should be same for all the workers, that let's say in 10 minutes one worker can produce 1 unit, which is a normal efficiency worker. So the standards would be that in 10 minutes every worker needs to prepare 1 unit of the production. Now simplification of work basically means dividing of the work into small units so that each worker will be responsible for the small task given to them. A standardization of output is possible if a standard is maintained right from selection of tools, equipment, machines to use maximize the output by keeping in mind the quality standards. A standardization does not mean only quality standard, but it refers to setting up a standard for size, type, weight, etc. Okay. What are the objective of a standardization? The simple objective of a standardization are to reduce a given line of product to fixed type, allow interchangeability and maintain quality standard. By having set standards, we can maintain the quality into the organization. Now we have simplification of work. As more varieties mean more inventories, more type of machine, more type of labor, etc. By simplifying the task, there can be economy in use of machine, labor, inventory. So first what we did, we set the standards, then what we did, we simplified the work. Once we standardize, we will maintain the quality. By simplification of work, we will be able to produce or to achieve the standard that we have set. Now we have fatigue study. Fatigue study basically suggested that when the worker is doing the labor in the organization, physical labor in the organization, then he will get exhausted very quickly. So apart from the lunch break that he get, to increase his efficiency, he will also require to have the quick breaks through which he can regain his energy. So fatigue study basically means to set rest intervals, to set number of frequency and duration of rest intervals. So in the fatigue study, first we set when a worker is required to get the break and for how long he need to rest to regain his efficiency. Then we have time study. Time study, to simply put it, time study basically means what is the time requirement to perform a standard job. The standard time required to perform a job, setting up the standard target for workers, determining the number of workers required to perform a job, and then categorizing the workers in efficient and efficient categories. So let's take an example. Let's say there are 3 workers, A, B and C. In 10 minutes, worker A produced 10 units of high quality. On the contrary, B produced only 5 units and C produced 8 units. So he is a normal efficient worker, he is a low efficiency worker, and this is a highly efficient worker. Okay. So now we will set the standard on the basis of this average, that what is the average time required to perform a job, and if the person is not able to perform the job in the average given time, that worker will be considered as inefficient worker. Now we have method study. Method study basically means the method that is best to perform a single job. Like what could be the method of loading a iron log into the truck, what could be the best basis of doing the same thing. So that is method study. What is the best method to perform a job. Selection of method which minimize the cost and maximize the efficiency will be selected by the organization. Now we have motion study. Motions basically means that in the motion study, we will categorize the motions as the required motion, unrequired and unnecessary motions. So we will focus on the required motion, the basic motions which are part of the job, which are required, and we will try to avoid the unnecessary motions. Let's take an example to understand the motion study. Suppose a worker is required to perform a certain job and he is going back and forth to get the tools. We can put the toolbox in front of him so that it will help him to complete the job more efficiently and effectively, as he is not wasting his time in getting the tool again and again. Then we have differential piece wage system. What does this system say? To understand it simply, as we have studied in the time study, that we will categorize and fix a standard time to perform a job. Once that time is fixed, we will see who are the workers who are able to perform the job into the given time and what is the quality. On that basis, we will pay the worker. That is differential piece wage system. So suppose the worker A is producing 10 units. So he is highly efficient. So he will get a reward for producing 10 units within 10 minutes. Let's suppose the standard pay for the highly efficient worker is 10 rupees. For the low efficient worker, it is only 5 rupees per unit, and for the average worker, it is 7 rupees. So he will earn 100 rupees, he will earn 25 rupees only, and he will earn 40 rupees. Okay, so that's it for today. We have discussed scientific principles of management given by Taylor and the techniques given by Taylor. Okay, thank you so much.